Hi guys. Well, tonight I'm gonna do a quick gear presentation about something I think is really worth knowing, even if I'm not a huge fan of French knives usually. They have pretty good knives, but usually they are not my favorite blades. Now, when you are looking for a nice little blade to always have around that doesn't take much place, not much space, you may be interested in a brand of knives that is called the Douk-Douk. It's written Douk-Douk, and this is a French knife made in the bladesmithing of Thiers. This is a region in France, and these knives were a favorite of, I think it's the Foreigner Legion, and I'm not sure of the translation here, but it's the troopers from French army that were going in foreign countries, if I'm not mistaken. And they are really small, nice small blades, really sharp. They have some problems with rust if you don't care for them the right way, so you have to put a thin layer of oil just to protect them. But I have mine for I have several indeed, and one of them is in my purse. Well, you see my purse is pretty thick, but it's not because of that knife, it's because it has a survival kit, it has a lot of stuff, but the knife itself doesn't take a lot of space. Here, see, you can compare the size. It's the size of my knuckle, pretty much, and it's that thin. It's I think 3 millimeters thick. Now, I'm gonna show you the two others I have. One is a big model. Sorry, just gonna correct that. One is the big model here. So as you may see, it's a bit bigger than my hand. I will say it's about 10-12 centimeters long when folded, and the small one is about, I think, 9 centimeters. I don't have a ruler here, but it's really small. Both are really thin, as you may see. They are here. You may see that better. Here you have a size comparison between the two of them, and the thickness. Excuse me. They are really thin indeed, and you may be interested in them for several reasons. So first, as I've said, it's almost a Scandi grind, but with a slight secondary bevel that allows you to keep a really nice and sharp edge for a long time. This is the first reason why you could be interested in one. The second reason is that, well, I have seen a lot of folding knives that were far from being as tough as a fixed blade, but these, even if they don't have a locking mechanism, which make them interesting for people out there in the UK, where for a locking knife, if I'm not mistaken, are forbidden. So they have a really strong locking mechanism, and their spine is really sharp too. Not sharp in the way you can shave your arm, but in a way you can strike an amazing spark from a flint. And here you may see the name Douk-Douk. Sorry, I'm gonna add the light here if I find it. Oh, here. So this is, hope you can read Douk-Douk. Well, you have an idea here. So those knives are not only strong, they are really almost, they are not as tough, but almost as tough as some smaller fixed blade, you can do battening with that without any problem. You can really hide, is not the perfect word, but you can put it almost anywhere on your person without feeling it. I have used one in my I did have a hole in my boots, and I did put that between the outer layer and the inner layer of my boots, so that I could have always a nice blade with me. This is something you can do a lot with. You have, indeed, the handle is just some folded piece of steel, thick. It's really, it's thick, it's strong, it's durable, and you have two rivets, one for holding the blade and one for a little loop here for attaching paracord or something like that. And the reason why the guys in the Foreign Legends did like those is because they could hammer. Here you can see the small quillion. They did hammer that to turn those knives in fixed blades. This is maybe not the most, it's not the most comfortable knife to have around, because it's steel. Here you can see it's not sharp, but it can, with a lot of use, it can dig into your fingers. That's right. But how we always say, the survival knife, it's not the best knife you can find in the shops or stuff like that. It's the knife you have with you when a survival situation occurs. And this is the kind of knives that you can easily, the small one, you can easily hide in the survival kit. And I must say, if I didn't discover that brand before, I wouldn't have such good blade always with me. You have a striker, you have a kind of light fixed blade. If you hammer with a rock, the small piece here, so you have extra security, excuse me, here the small piece of metal, you can hammer that and it holds really well the blade. With that you can do more than just with a scalpel blade. You can do, with the small one, you can do a really small battening, really not a huge task, but you can build traps easily. I've done that before. You can, prepare food, like skinning a rabbit or anything you have. You can clean a fish easily. You can cut rope. You can, pretty much any task you will have in a survival situation, you can do with that. You will not be able to chop a huge tree with that, of course. You have to find a way around, but if you don't have anything else than your survival kit, you wouldn't be able to do that with the Douk-Douk survival knife either. So this is a really great blade to have around. And as you may see here, it's really, it demands some force to fold it, so it won't fold as easily as a Victorinox on your fingers if you manipulate it in not the best way. So it's a safe knife, it strikes a huge spark, and I'm always impressed when I see that. I have one other that I have as a necklace often with me when I go, just hiking for a small walk in the woods, just to be able to have a quick blade around for simple tasks. And it's really a nice blade. As I've said, the problem, in my opinion, the two worst problems with that is rust. If you don't care enough, but you can put a layer of beeswax on it, you just brush some beeswax and then heat it with a hair dryer or stuff like that, so that it makes a good protection from the elements. You can then wear it as a necklace for hours. and you will be able to use that to cut food because beeswax is not toxic, and you will be able to do anything you need or want. So this is a really tough blade. It's not a Chinese blade that you can have for a low price. It's a low price blade made in France by a renowned firm, and it hasn't made its proof in my survival kit. I know that this is one blade. If I couldn't have anything else than my survival kit, this is the blade that is inside my survival kit. And even if I don't have always this with me, well, when I'm in the woods, because always in the cities, I've always kept my survival, my Douk-Douk inside my purse, money holder. I don't know I'm not sure of the name. That's where you put your dollar bills and credit cards and stuff like that. So I always have that with me, and it's just so light, so small, you can put it anywhere. You will always have a tough blade, and for this kind of knives, this is the strongest, the smallest, the lightest, the sturdiest knife I've seen around for 4 years, and as it strikes an amazing blade. This is mostly a two-piece kit you can make, a two-piece necklace kit you can make. This knife and a fire steel, and you'll have pretty much anything you need for the most, and I say the most basic survival. You'll have a blade and a way to light fire, which covers water, if you know the ways to boil water without having a cup or a plastic bag. It allows you to grill your food, to heat your food, to kill bacteria. You have everything you need to start a fire, for signaling, and you will have a good basic kit. Then you can add anything you want, like a whistle or stuff like that. But this is a blade, I think it's worth considering for survival and outdoors, because it's really a nice blade. And well, I maybe repeat myself, but I've been always amazed when I've used those because of the great quality. Now, for a survival kit, I would take the small one. For a kind of EDC knife, if I can call it that way, the standard one, Douk-Douk, I'm not sure it's the medium or the big. I think it's the medium one. They have several sizes, but if you look on the web, you will find a lot more information. But this one is really suitable for light battening. I've tried it. It's excellent for feather sticks. It's just amazing. You can really have a nice, really thin feathers on your feather stick. It's a suitable blade for pretty much any usual task of the bushcrafter. This is worth considering as a backup bushcraft blade for any other task. When you want a second knife, I don't know, I always have at least one backup knife in the woods. Usually I have a survival, last ditch survival blade, and sometimes I bring my bigger one. But they are both really useful for a survival kit. If you have a survival kit that is big enough, you can use that, put that in it. You will not regret to have one with you. If you just have a smaller one, well, you may not be able to do as many battening with the small one. You can do it, but it will be a bit harder. It's smaller, it's thinner, so you know what I mean. It's not made for battening. This one is not made for battening, of course, but it works really well for that purpose. And if you haven't anything else, you will be so happy to have it. You will be thankful to those who created those two blades. They have a lot of variations. Those are the standard models you can find on the websites, on the web, and they have a pretty special blade, but this blade, as you may see, works perfectly for skinning game, like so. You can just, you know, put your finger on the kind of scimitar blade. You can use your thumb here for a lot. This is also a nice feature to know, for really, you know, comfortable and a lot of control on the blade when you carve wood. You just put your thumb in this kind of curve here, and it's like it's made to be used that way. It's really great for making precision cuts. It's really great. You have the same one on the small blade, so here you can just see that, like so, and you can use both with your finger here for skinning. Just wanted to show you and share with you those two pieces, those knives that are excellent knives for a really low cost, and for the value, for the price, you have an amazing value in my opinion. So if you did not know that, now you can go on the web and search information about that, and maybe you will be addicted to those. In my opinion, Opinels are great. They are a bit bulky. They are by far not my favorite knives, of course, but between an Opinel or a Douk-Douk, I will go for Douk-Douk without any hesitation. And now I know why I always have one with me, and I'm really glad to have discovered that brand. So guys, hope you will be interested in those nice knives, and if you have any other questions, just ask. I must say I was a bit tired when I began that video, and everything was going a bit you know, in every directions in my head, so I'm sorry if I was a bit confusing. But if you have any question, as always, feel free to ask. I will be glad if you have any request. Just ask. I'll try to do my best to help you in your survival or bushcraft. So guys, see you soon, and thanks for watching. Cheers.